At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. Now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. And we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off the bow.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont. 105.9 The Radiators, a rocket shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor. I'm back after Bob graciously filled in last week, so thank you, Bob. With me tonight is Kane Patrick Sweeney, a.k.a. Bishop LaVey. How's it going?
It's going all right, man.
Good.
All right.
I'm glad to hear it. You're just saying a bit of a tickly throat.
I do, yeah. Always before like a show that I think is really important, I get a throat cold. It's awesome.
Psychosomatic maybe, or the fates just hit you?
It just means I'm going to scream a little louder.
There we go. Yeah. It's just encouragement. Your body's just giving you encouragement. We usually like to kick it off with a song, just so everyone knows what you're about. So would you like to pick one and introduce it?
Yeah, the song I'm going to start with is going to be either the single or the title track for an album that's going to be released in February. It's called Calling Us Back Home. You can't find it anywhere. This will be the first time anybody ever hears it outside of my house.
Nice. So a big Heavy World exclusive here.
Yeah, and then, I'm going to play some other stuff that people have seen at shows and have heard online.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Well, take it away.
Yeah, no problem. See them, the hooded cloaks ahead. Please do not fret now, darling, 'cause we're already dead. 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 Black clouds roll over with their ill intent. You can't outrun them, darling, when they flood this land. 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 He called me back to, I'll be right beside you. He's calling us back home, back home. He called me back to, I'll be right beside you. He's calling us back home, back home. Right back home. Right back home. Right back home. I have seen the serpent calling you home, but will you meet him, darling? Still flesh and bone, still flesh and bone, still flesh and bone, still flesh and bone. Still flesh and bone. you remember our promised land. 'Cause I remember starving with no dove in my hand. 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 He called me back to, I'll be right beside you. He's calling us back home. Home. He called me back to, I'll be right beside you. He's calling us back home. Home.
Bishop LaVey there. So what's the track called?
That was called Calling Us Back Home.
Calling Us Back Home. And as I understand it, Bishop LaVey is kind of an alias. You initially started out using your actual name.
Yeah, I did. I started recording a bunch of albums when I was living out west under my real name, and I didn't do really that well at all. I mean, I was in a big city, and I was starting this folk project, and I had never played folk before, so it's understandable. But I moved back here, and I wanted to write songs that were way more depressing and downtrodden than your typical folk songs, and maybe, a little more doomy. And I just didn't want to write under the same, put out more albums that sounded way different than the other stuff I was doing. So I came up with this stage alias, and originally it was just supposed to be a concept album. And I just ran with it.
Well, why do you think you made the switch, and do you still write songs under your real name?
I don't right now. I always try and start different side projects, and I never finish them. So I have a death metal side project that has one song on YouTube right now called Orphan War, and it's supposed to just be a parody of Cannibal Corpse. and I never do anything with it. And then I have another side project that does something else, and I don't do anything with it. So Bishop LaVey has been my main focus for the majority of 2.5 years now.
Okay. And how did you come up with your alias? Is there any links you have to the project?
Yeah, so I wanted to write this concept album that was doomy, end of the world, satanic, and with Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible, I stole his last name. I'll be the first to admit it. But in the book, he talks about religious hierarchy and how he thinks it's a joke. So I just thought it would be funny to call him a bishop, and then I just adopted the name.
You didn't decide to go for Pope?
No. And actually, I got ordained online, so it could be Reverend Bishop LaVey if you really wanted it to be.
For the full title.
Yeah.
So you've come out with a number of records under this alias.
Yeah.
You had an EP, it came out in 2017, Pay Me the Widow.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I did that with my brother-in-law, who owns and operates Green Mountain Records. And he's done bands like Get a Grip and not Caulfield, Reverser and Coquette. And he just records me because he was dating my sister. And so we put out that album, and it was depressing, but it was super glossy. He's a really good producer.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, I can't perform all this on stage. There's keyboards and there's symphony sounds and drums and bass, and I couldn't do all of it live. And actually, for the new record, I am sort of returning to those sounds without maybe the drums, so that you still get sort of the feel live, but I couldn't perform. I performed those songs. I'm going to perform one of the songs off that album tonight, but it's, I can't really pull off half those songs.
Well, as you said, that you're looking to release an album in February. I believe by the name of Nefarious. Oh, that's different to what I had.
Yeah, I got to change that on Facebook. The album that's to be released in February is going to be called Light, and it's an entirely concept album about the end of the world.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
And so what I also noticed you were looking to do kind of a story arc over several songs. Is that going to be on the new album?
Yeah, some of those songs have already been recorded. So No Reason, I think, is on that list, and that was actually the B-side of my last single. And so, yes, they will have a story arc from before the apocalypse to after the apocalypse will be sort of the arc of the story. And I just really wanted to make it as screamy and yelly and depressing as possible. And so I've moved. I typically play with a capo on my third or second fret because that's usually where my vocal range is. And for the song I just played, which will be on this album, I've taken the capo off completely. And some songs I'm drop tuning the entire guitar just to make it more and more dark, chase the rabbit down the hole.
And is that also why you're deciding not to have your brother-in-law produce it this time, to keep it rawer?
There was a lot of... It's not that I didn't want him to produce it. We just never have the same schedules. And as I wanted to produce more and more music at a faster pace, it became easier to do it myself. And he actually was very helpful. He's given me condenser mics. He's walked me through how to record and how to edit and stuff like that. And so I've started doing it myself, and I'll send him the songs before they're mixed and be like, does that sound good? And sometimes he's like, you need to bring this up, you need to put that down. But overall, I'm actually pretty proud that I'm doing it myself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel that when you do self-produce a record, you really get that sense of ownership over the entire thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good time probably to go for a second song. Maybe something off the new album?
Well, the new album, I just did one off the new album. I'm going to do my last single, actually.
All right.
Trouble for Nothing. That's the one I really like to play live.
Any story behind this one? Is there
Trouble for Nothing is just about like human relationships, man. Like whether it's romantic or just friendship. Like if you end up making an enemy of that person and they make an enemy out of you, it's just about like how you feel like you wasted all that time like with that person. So that's what really this song's about.
All right, well, take it away, man.
I hit the bottle when I get home. These winter nights, baby, I stay warm. You played a game with my head and you won. Not like I see you at all anymore. All this trouble for nothing. The separation is crushing. All these things I'm avoiding. With these grudges I'm holding. I spend my nights rattled to my core. I waste no time starting my next war. You could end this before I start. Now that thought entertains my heart. All this trouble for nothing. The separation is crushing. All these things I'm avoiding. With these grudges I'm holding.
the one by Bishop LaVey there. You did mention that you kind of took on this persona in order to kind of like explore more of your melancholy, emotional side. And I was just wondering, when you're writing and producing these songs, is it kind of an emotionally daunting experience, or do you find it kind of cathartic?
Well, I mean, I have a lot to pull from. Childhood trauma. My dad died when I was very young, and I struggle with depression. Like a lot of Vermonters do struggle with depression, especially in the winter. It's dark all the time. You know, you really get to like you feel trapped inside. You can't get out. And so a lot of my songs are about struggling with depression, and I come from a family of alcoholics, so I can touch on that and talk about addiction. And so it actually became it started out kind of hard, but it became really easy for me to start singing these depressing, melancholy songs that people can relate to. I mean, I got a buddy I work with who just sings along to every melancholy, depressing song that comes on Spotify. And I'm like, how do you know all these songs? He's like, I'm depressed. So I just wanted to write for people to let them know that they're not alone. And actually the next song I'm going to play is about losing someone because of depression in the winter, someone committing suicide that's very close to you, and just, letting people know that they're not alone, but also singing songs that you can absolutely relate to. Yeah, really touches quite a lot of people in this moment in time, especially in this neck of the world as well. Yeah. And again in November when where it's 10 degrees outside before Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And I hear so you got your I would say famous guitar that you're playing today. You've had that for many years. I think I read 80 since you're 18.
Yeah, I found this on a truck on the Barry Montpelier Road. This guy was selling all these things off his truck, and he was selling the body of this guitar. It didn't have nuts on it, didn't have tuning bolts on it, and of course no strings. Some of the fret knots were missing, so I put the guitar back together, and it's been with me ever since. It was once an electric acoustic, but I have no idea where those components live. But I've taken care of this thing since I was 18 years old.
Yeah, a real labor of love. And what have you got etched on the front there?
When I was 18, I drew on this a bunch of times, and I've actually since just wiped it off like tonight. And I had etched in just this machine before when I was 18, just because it was like a play on Guthrie's guitar.
Yeah.
And I feel like music is a really good weapon against depression, and especially with addiction. A lot of musicians are addicts, but when they're on stage, that's their moment, that's their element.
Yeah.
And so I etched into the guitar. This machine is my only weapon.
I like that. And
then it's got the all-seeing eye, but that's on all of my album covers. It's tattooed on my arm.
Oh, talking of tattoos, actually, I did see on your Instagram that you have the Blackbeard's Jolly Roger.
Yeah. My sister invited me out to go get pirate-themed tattoos, where she got this elegant ship. I didn't think it was going to be elegant at all. I didn't know it was going to take this much time. But she got this really elegant ship, and I was like, give me Blackbeard's flag.
Did you know that before you were going to go out there, or were you like, when you were there?
No, I thought
exactly
of it, and I was like, oh, pirate theme, that's cool.
Yeah,
but I don't have that much money. So we get there, and I'm like, I've decided on Blackbeard's flag. And he goes, you sure? And I was like, yeah, make it bigger, though. That's a small drawing.
I like the inspiration there, especially because not many people know that Blackbeard didn't kind of like sail under the classic skull and crossbones Jolly Roger. It was quite a specific design. So
my girlfriend hates it. She hated it when I got it. Yeah, she was saying like, he's evil. He's killed people. He's probably raped people. And I was like, yeah, well, thanks for telling me after I got it.
It was a pirate.
But also, like, the way I looked at it was like he was the most feared pirate in history. And I mean, it was just a fun pirate-themed tattoo that I got. Most of my tattoos, there's no meaning behind. I just get them in the spur of the moment. I got a bat on Halloween.
Nice. Very, very, very appropriate for the time.
I got an all-seeing eye on the Friday the 13th.
Does your sister often invite you out for like tattoo parties, or is this
that was a one-time thing. We have been getting closer since her and Vincent, the owner of Green Mountain Records, they got married this summer.
Oh,
and we were just ever since I got back from California, we've just been getting closer as a family. When I was fresh out of high school, I was not around.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And Before I'll let you play your last song, so you got your album coming out in February. You have a Bandcamp website, and you can find you on Facebook. Have you got any dates coming up that you kind of like to plug?
I have the last date of 2018 before I tuck in and finish that album.
Yeah.
It's at Radio Bean here in Burlington on the 21st at, it's either 8 or 8:30. I'd have to look at my phone. But it's going to be the last one of 2018, and I don't think I have any openers. I think I'm the first one. I'm not going to, don't quote me on that, but.
Oh, I wasn't planning on. I'm guessing any further information can be found on things like Facebook?
Yeah, it can be found on my Facebook, Bandcamp. I don't know if the Spotify is still, I have to go through and see if it's still posting gigs. Mm-hmm. But you can definitely find it on Radio Bean's information too, on their website, on their Facebook.
And look out for your album coming out in February titled Emotions?
Light. Emotions.
So close.
That'll be the next EP after that one, Emotions.
There we go. All right, well, what song have you got left for us
This
today?
is this last song is the title track off that very first Bishop LaVey EP. It's called Paint Me the Widow.
All right, take it away.
I can see your reflection in the starlight. You try to run, but you run too far. You won't get where you're going by the time spring starts. For this snow is too thick and those boots too thin. For this cold it will eat you and feast on your skin. So paint me the widow. So paint me the widow. So paint. Paint me the widow in this lonely night. I still see your reflection in the moonlight. You tried to run, but you've run too far. You can't get where you're going by the time spring starts. For this snow is too deep and your boots too thin. For this cold it will eat you and feast on your skin. So paint me the widow. So paint. Paint me the widow. So paint me the widow.
Bishop LaVey there. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Any time, and especially when the new album comes out, please come in again and we'll have
I'll definitely shoot you guys a message about that.
Please do.
Thank you very much.
Coming up next, we've got Fossa. They'll be on in just a moment, and so stick around.